where Ukrainians are not, they don't agree to that. The problem is that all these peace negotiations, they are based on security guarantees for Ukraine in case that Russians, by taking the territories, it will be even easier for them to continue their attacks against the rest of the Ukraine. And right now, U.S. is very vague on their security guarantees. They're saying, yes, they will provide security guarantees. What kind of security guarantees? How it will be formulated, ratified by Congress, if ratified by Congress or so. Now, the other problem is, and I mentioned already on one of our programs, the all peace agreement, including U.S. Attempts to get its hand on the Russian frozen funds in Europe, and we're talking about close to $250 billion. So that's cannot be even formulated by, according to international law, how U.S., who is not part of this money at all, just for offering their help to negotiate, which has not been even negotiated, as a reward, get $250 million of money which are being frozen by European Union. How that all will be formulated according to international law? There is no such formula even exists. So right now it's a lot of wranglings and negotiations and fights are really going on over nothing. There is nothing can be formulated, written in law that could be withstanding international laws and scrutiny of international organizations. And I don't think that there could be anything put on table to Congress to ratify.
Oh, Mark disappeared on us. I was sitting here trying to do some extra work. I thought Mark was still there.
Now Mark wants to do some extra work.
He does. I guess I'll try and ask some questions to keep the conversation going. We'll start off, Dr. Sharif. Question for you, which could tie in Sasha as well, because both it would be more of an international market. What have you seen in the international market for both your regions? Because one is dealing with Asia, one is dealing with North American market. In those regions, in technology, which has taken off, and Sasha, especially in the something to look at financially to invest in for the stock way or the stock market. So, Dr. Sharif, what you got in the technology industry that you see blasting off?
If you ask me, actually, let's say in South Asia, like around 3 billion people live in this region, this Asia Pacific and all of the places. So many good things happening. Definitely social media and artificial intelligence playing a major role, especially the youth. They love to contribute through the social media, through TikTok, through Facebook, through YouTube. And we have a lot of influential, because country like Bangladesh, India, or Pakistan, or they have a lot of young people. Secondly, as we are developing infrastructure, so what you call this data center, infrastructure for healthcare industries, infrastructure for education, for banking industries, the tech industry is actually growing. And third things, definitely education is very, very important. So your game industry, where you're working, it may be very helpful, because let's say we are introducing CEO development program in Bangladesh, not only for Bangladeshi students. You can see the Indian Army, you can see even American peoples, let's say North American people, European peoples, or African people, they are joining in our program, including Asia Pacific people. So what is their demand? They want to improve their skill in AI, in cybersecurities, in this area, and they're looking for jobs, or they want to build up their own company. So if you can target these huge youth populations based on this demand of AI, the cybersecurity, or this even salespeople, I think still there is a very big room, because in Silicon Valley, my personal experience, I see that there are many tech genius, especially startup industries, and many people fail. I believe that they are genius, only they need a very good market. Let's say South Asia is a very good market for them. If you want to get into China, it will be very difficult for you. But if you want to get into the India or Bangladesh and Pakistan, it will be very easy market because of law, rules, and regulations. So even your gaming industry, but you need a proper plan, right? Everything need proper plan. I have one of the obstacle with the North American friends. Honestly speaking, this is my honest opinion, very very honest opinion. They are very bad at creating market. uh, Honestly speaking, very bad. Even let's say, I do not want to go for personal attack or anything. I will not mention the name. But anyway, Nick introduced one of the professor from USA, and he want to introduce, even though he is origin from Pakistan or Bangladesh, he want to introduce his venture capital in South Asia. But problem is that this is not like, hey, this is my company, run behind it, give me money and I'm ready to get take all of the money. You need to understand the market, go for detailed market research, and engage with the community, engage with the people. What I'm doing, engage with the community, not in online. Online actually maybe 10% customer you get, but rest of the things you have to go online. So honestly speaking, that is some of the things Silicon Valley genius or these startup peoples or these intellectual people, they can learn how to make relationship, how to engage with the people, emotional engagement and cultural engagement. I believe that is the way USA, even your, I want to help you, your gaming industry can create a very positive impact. Maybe through game, you can change education system. Through gaming industry, maybe you can change the mindset of the youth people, and they're going to welcome you. But again, what I see, I do not want to say everyone like them. Definitely, there are some people. North American weakness, they do not know, honestly speaking, how to engage with culturally. They say, I am the big man, all of the big things. Nobody knows you what big man you are. So that is the things. If you can with cultural interaction and human relationship, it's a huge market in tech industry.
What
Thank
about
you.
you, Sasha? What you got? You had it's good to see Rick pop in.
Hello.
On the same question, what about the North American market that you see? That is that similar to what Dr. Sharif sees?
If you're talking about North American market, it's very, very difficult to analyze it because you have to then go to any specific industries. You have to go to geography, which state are you talking about, because there are very different trends. The debt is growing. It's over $39 trillion now, and there is no end to it. Stock market now is becoming quite vulnerable because different reasons. It's either over extensions, it's valuations. You can name it any way you want. I see it as a regular correction that will go much deeper this time. It's not like usually you buy on a deep. Now this time could be different. I don't want to go into analysis why it's happening or so on, but it was due for correction for quite a bit. So, okay, so there is a correction, so the market will probably lose 10-20% of its value, then it will try to gain it back in some near future, or maybe not so near future, and so on. So this is very, very difficult really to analyze. U.S. Foreign policy is a complete disaster. They lost all their negotiations with China, especially over the rare earth metals, and as a result, China is refusing to buy soybean products. So now U.S. has to compensate U.S. farmers. The last figure I heard, $12 billion. Okay, so $12 billion is time. Then will be more payments in the future. So I don't understand how U.S. can get out of this malaise. There is nothing really to look forward to. I'm talking about domestic policies, which is a disaster. Foreign policies is even bigger disaster now. They're talking about getting U.S. out of NATO, teaming up with Russians and China and so on. It's so bizarre how you can team up with China, who is restricting your access to rare earth metals, is not buying your soybean products and other agricultural products, and you want to be friends with them, and you want to run some kind of projects together. I don't know what kind of project. I don't know why China needs US for any project. They have money, they have technologies, they have capital, they have everything. Why do they need United States? That's my question.
Rick, you got an answer.
Well, China can afford to be generous because they're just sitting back and watching the U.S. self-destruct. We've got 3 more years of Trump, and I would assume that our foreign competitors are gleeful because the country is being mismanaged.
What do you guys think? Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was going to say, speaking of being mismanaged, during the weekend, I was watching several people that were wondering along the same lines of what they were wondering about Biden, about Trump's mental state. So I was wondering what y'all think about that, because apparently over the weekend he had several public appearances where he was ranting and raving and talking about everything from snakes to other things that didn't make a lot of sense and all along those lines. So do we need to be worried about Trump's mental state and preparing for President Vance?
Well, he's installed a yes man cabinet that will let him do whatever he wants. There are very few, maybe Marco Rubio might eventually, suggest that he's not competent, but everybody else who are themselves not particularly competent will, ride him deep into the, ride a sinking ship well underwater.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to try and pass the torch to JD Vance. I mean, that's what Turning Point USA has already picked. Yeah, Trump is his, as we've discussed ad nauseum. Yeah, it is. Trump says crazy things, and it should never have been normalized from the start. And we allowed it to be normalized, and we accepted it to be normalized. So trying to judge if he's crazy or not, honestly, he's been crazy for a long time. But now I guess people are starting I think now the mystique is starting to wear off on Trump, which is great. But yeah, JD Vance is going to try and ride those coattails. That's why he hasn't done a thing. He's been campaigning as the vice president since the start of the year. So that's what he's going around the nation doing.
Trump's approval rating has actually recovered a little bit by 1.5% since the government shutdown ended. And since we didn't get October numbers, we'll be waiting until after the new year to see if inflation and unemployment have really ticked up significantly.
Well, the tough part is yes, the bigger issue is what's happening with the healthcare, because that's going to skyrocket. Things become, you got that hitting in what, about a week and a half. Then you also have as well the Epstein files, which are supposed to drop at the same time. So my guess is, I mean, if they do not do anything with the healthcare, because what they're actually suggesting is really ridiculous and doesn't make any sense. The Republican healthcare plan, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's not going to work. but that is what they may end up passing, which kills the subsidies, which means all prices are going to skyrocket. It's going to be crazy with what's going to happen, because even if they were to do these bank accounts that they're talking about doing, that's not going to be in effect till later in the year, because Congress has to pass that before anything, because Congress controls the purse strings. You just can't pass the bill and say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do, and then it happens immediately. It doesn't happen that way. They have to set up the whole the process for it. So that's going to kill it.
So, but as long as Trump's approval numbers stay above 40%, above 38%, nobody's going to abandon ship. He can say whatever.
Well, it's because you have we're going into an election year, and we're hitting that election cycle. So there are going to be people that are either going to retire or that are going to buck Trump coming up. Right now, yes, both sides have lost people to retirement. I think the Democrats lost 20 some people. The Republicans have lost 30 some people. And coming into this year, there are going to be a lot of changes, because the Hispanic population, his numbers have dropped in the Hispanic population. So that's not a guaranteed vote anymore. What he's done in the immigration system, that has harmed him in the Hispanic community. So if you look at the polling on the Hispanic community, it's dropped.
Yeah, it went from 46 during the election. It's down to 32 now, which is a huge drop, especially in places like Texas that are heavily Latino.
Yep. And that's where they're doing the redistricting, where they're trying to get rid of the Black community and replace it with the Hispanic community. But now that they've tanked in the Hispanic community, it is actually it could be a detriment. That's what they're doing in the other states as well. So it's just politically, it's going to be it's a lot tougher next year, because you're going with a lot of headwinds in terms of historically speaking.
Let's talk about the mechanics of that, of gerrymandering in Texas, where what they wanted to do was, when they thought they had the Latino vote, they wanted to put enough Latinos in enough different congressional districts that Trump would win. And they wanted to take the Black people in Texas and concentrate them in just a few districts. So there would be a few, largely Black districts where an odd Democrat might get elected, but the Latinos would flip all these formerly Democratic districts to Republican. And now, without the support of Latinos, it may backfire.
Yep. So that's why I think going into this election year and this election cycle, it's going to be a lot different. And if this whole idea of you have to wait and then next year everything's going to be a boom, that's going to be a problem, because if you look at what they did with Biden, Trump said that he'd fix it on day one. You're a year in and you still hadn't fixed a thing. It's actually gotten worse, and that's what people are feeling, and that's what people really can't stand right now. So the longer it lingers, just like the inflation that happened under Biden, which contextually was a lot different than what's going on right now. But the inflation that happened in 2021, 2022 under Biden, that dropped dramatically. Everybody still refers back to that time. Nobody talks about the inflation in 2024 when it was a lot lower, or in January when it was continually dropping. They talk about, oh, no, look at inflation in 2022, or look at inflation in 2021. Oh, he got quiet. Mark, I guess you got the feedback. That's why you keep going on mute. But let's go to the positive. Let's see. Let's jump on some positive stuff, because there's been a lot of bad and sad stuff that's been happening. Zootopia is dominating the market right now in the movies. And my question, because I want to stay away from the sad part, because you heard that Marvel has now put the Doomsday trailer behind a paywall because you have to see Avatar to see one of the 4 trailers for the Marvel Doomsday that is next year, which is going to be a huge thing. I want to know because let's have a little fun. Let's have a little fun since I guess I'm doing a lot of talking. I don't mean to do a lot of talking, but we're going to do a lot of talking. Let's have a little fun. Rick, Sasha, all of y'all, I need a new Netflix show. And I know in different regions you have different shows, but don't worry about it. I do have NordVPN, so I can go to your region and watch whatever I want to. Probably not supposed to say that, but that's the way it works. That's life these days. So
have you seen Stranger Things, Toby?
Huh?
Toby, have you seen Stranger Things?
Yep, did Stranger Things.
All right, so you got a prestige movie with the latest Knives Out movie, Wake Up Dead Man, and I'm about 2/3 through it, and I don't know if I am thrilled with it, but I'm thrilled to get a movie quality movie with a huge cast: Josh Brolin, Daniel Craig, everybody's a big star, and it's fun to see people like Glenn Close and another 8 different Mila Suvari, not Mila. Anyway,
I've been wanting to watch that one. I've been wanting to watch it. It's on my list.
So I mean, it's okay, but I like watching it because you're saving $20 it would cost to see it in the theater. Also, The Diplomat. I really like The Diplomat on Netflix, where Kerry Russell, who used to be Felicity and used to be in The Americans, now plays an American who's been appointed the ambassador to Britain. And her husband's kind of a scumbag, and she has no use for diplomatic niceties. Her hair is always greasy. She maybe wants to have an affair with the British. It's a lot of, and there's a bunch of stuff going on, and it's pretty fun. And she always does a good job.
All right, that's on my list. Dr. Sharif, what you got? What are you watching now?
I'm introducing an interesting program tomorrow, for me tomorrow, for you today. I think in 12 hours from now. It's called CEO Development Program. We are building entrepreneurs, CEO, and interestingly, there are many cultural people. I told you, the American peoples, Indian peoples, even people, those who work for army, defense, they are also joining, and African peoples, and many people from around the world, they are joining to be an entrepreneur. So I believe that if you are not economically successful, I do not want to say that you have to be billionaires. No, you do not have to be billionaires. But if you are not economically successful, you cannot contribute for your society or contribute as a good person for this society. So I'm getting a very positive response from around the world. So I want to invite you all, and definitely we're going to share these things, the CEO Development Program. It's a combinations, like cultural combinations of, let's say, South Asia, North America, Europe, and Africa. Trust me, when different cultural people work together, it becomes very productive. So CEO Development Program will be very, very productive. And hopefully I will get all of your support. You can join as a teacher. You can join as a mentor.
All right. Mark, you still got I guess you got your phone. And
you got a little bit of feedback, and I think Nick had some feedback too. Get ready to wind down because I know we got economics coming up and everything. I did want to just hear from.
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to point out, Dr. Sharif, I wanted laughing, happy fun. You went business. I want something fun. Give me something fun that you're watching.
Okay.
Something that makes you laugh, something that makes you joyous, because that's what we need a lot more of.
We are ready to work with your gaming industry.
I'm gonna get you one of these times. I'm gonna get you to give me something like that you're laughing. One of your fun shows that you're gonna watch. Something from Bangladesh. Something unique. a show that you
Yeah, he's asking for like a drama show or a TV show that you're watching from Bangladesh.
Nothing business oriented.
Look,
Yeah, no, not one of your shows.
there is a echo. Can you, anyone stop this echo?
Yeah, it's Mark's echo. Mark, if you could go to mute on one of them. There we go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if you want to understand the fun part of Bangladesh,
Mark, you came back. You can go. You got the echo coming through.
okay, so we have a music festival, especially the 16th December is our Victory Day. This tomorrow is for me tomorrow, so is a Victory Day. So Victory Day we do a lot of interesting cultural activities, specifically the music, parade, different kind of cultural things like different traditional Bangladeshi things we bring together. I can share with you. Maybe I can email you and I can invite my friends in our show.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I just turned to the Victory Day. I was looking it up online now. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I have an entertainment theory to run by you guys, particularly Jacoby, where when I was a kid, when Mark was a kid, like the James Bond movies were sexy. James Bond would get with a woman and she'd be in a bikini. And I think all that's gone away now. I think that I don't think that there are much in the way of love scenes or sex scenes designed to titillate people because they're not politically correct. And I think the producers are like, why would we risk getting canceled, our production getting canceled, when if people want love and sex scenes, they can just watch porno? When the latest James Bond, this is 12 years ago now, Daniel Craig first appeared, he came out of the water in a little teeny swimsuit like Ursula Andress came out of the water in a swimsuit 50 years before. Have we seen the end of sexy sex scenes in movies and TV?
I don't think so. I think it's a Game of Thrones versus House of the Dragon. Same world, same supposedly thing, but in Game of Thrones there was more gratuitous sex than there was in House of the Dragon. If you remember in House of the Dragon, or if you ever watched it, there was less. Even when they went in the brothel, there wasn't even much sex or nudity in anything. I think what people have figured out in evolving the story is the evolution in storylines is that you don't have to. The sex became a crutch. Like you write comedy, you know how there are certain things in comedy and certain things in storytelling that become crutches. Curse words are a crutch.
Right.
In improv,
barfing is a crutch. If you
Yep.
can't come up with anything else for a character to do when they're upset, have them barf.
Yep. And I think that's what people are starting to think is that's more of a crutch, and you can add more into a scene, and do some more cool things. You can imply the sex, but you don't have to show the sex because that's not the story. The story is what's going on. Like there's gratuitous violence. The Grindhouse movies are gratuitous violence, but even those are less extreme, bloody, and gory than they have been in years past. They've been more story in it, like Boy Kills World, which if you haven't seen it, phenomenal movie. It is an old throwback to the Grindhouse era and the Kung Fu movies. It's stupid funny, but again, it's not as gratuitous as it could have been.
Well, the John Wick movies have huge body count.
Yep.
And no sex that I can think of.
No, they don't. Same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Rick, did you see Boy Kills World?
I feel like I did a while back, and now I've forgotten.
It's just a dumb, fun movie. That's one, Dr. Sharif. If you're okay with like Kill Bills and all the blood and guts that happen here and there, it's just funny. It's just funny.
Well, get ready to wrap up. I did see something I was going to tease both of y'all about. Apparently, Merriam-Webster has made slop the word of the year and everything like that. And I don't know why slop is the word of the year. So if you got any theories about that, Rick, let me know and everything. And I was wondering if you could give us some feedback on Rob Reiner and everything like that, because I'm sure you probably worked with him or some of your peers did. And of course, he passed away in that stabbing death.
He was a fairly beloved guy. As long as you weren't Trumpy, he seemed like a good guy, a talented guy, a guy who, aggressively worked against the Trumpers. And then my wife just came in and told me what Trump said about it, that he was murdered because of Trump derangement syndrome, which is a huge lie and also just a shitty thing to say. Apparently, he had a kid who had been in rehab 19 times and had severe mental illness. And if you have that going on in your family, it's brutal. It colors every day. My wife's late brother had mental illness and substance abuse issues, and it just tortures everybody. And they're, when it's that severe, there isn't often a happy ending, though not usually something as tragic as this. I mean, if there's a silver lining at all, it's that he was 78 and he'd already lived a full creative life. I mean, his dad, I think, made it into his late 90s, so Rob Reiner could have lived another 20 years and made stuff and just enjoyed life. So that is tragic, but but a good guy. And of course, his wife, who was 70, she lost a lot of years. And of course, their last minutes of life where a kid who they'd struggled with and loved for their whole life, who was probably, I don't know, given their age, the kid was probably in his 40s, was, doing fatal violence to him is freaking terrible.
Yeah, that's real terrible, and definitely appreciate you giving those insights on Rob Reiner and everything like that. Before I get ready to play this last video to get us on out of here, and we did start a little bit late, but I know the Economics Monday is going on. What is your take, either you or Jacoby, on slop being the word of the year?
Well, no, it's short for AI slop. It's just the easily generated junk that you use AI to make.
Yep. On that note, we're getting ready to get on out of here. And I know they got Economics Monday going on, and we've got other shows coming up as well. Appreciate y'all filling in for me as we were having some technical difficulties, but it was definitely a great show. And right now, we're getting ready to get on out of here, and I'll catch y'all later on one of the other shows.
All right, goodbye. Thank you.